America's News Now. Details continue to emerge following the deadly terror attack in New Zealand last week, and officials there say the violent extremist was an ISIS supporter. Joining us now, former acting commissioner of Customs and Border Protection and visiting fellow at FAIR, Mark Morgan. Mark, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
We were learning more about the attacker. He was originally from Sri Lanka. He arrived in New Zealand in 2011, and he sought refugee status. Officials are now saying that he was a known supporter of the Islamic State and had been under surveillance for years. As someone who has worked at various levels of law enforcement, I want to get your reaction to these latest details.
Yeah, Jan, first of all, look, I think now as we're getting ready to acknowledge the 20th anniversary of 9/11, it takes on even a more of an important meaning when we hear stuff like this. The first thing that comes into my mind is the incredible work of the United States intelligence community and law enforcement at all levels to really do such incredible positive things with respect to terrorism. But also what comes to mind is our failed execution of the evacuation of Afghanistan, which overnight turned that country back to the terrorist operating base run by a terrorist organization that played an integral role in those 9/11 attacks. And look, their willingness and their commitment to continue to do the United States harm is alive and well. We may not have a physical presence there, but make no mistake, the war on terrorism is still alive and well, and their ability to do harm, whether through self-radicalized individuals like this or to improve their ability to do over the horizon harm is still there.
Yeah, we can't get complacent. We know this. And I saw several reports questioning why he was able to roam freely if he was under such surveillance. But, clearly you can't watch someone 24/7. But it does bring about some concerns, around the world of copycat attacks. You just mentioned the 20th anniversary of 9/11. How concerned should we be here in the States about the possibility of a terror attack happening on U.S. soil?
Look, it's always that balance. We can't give in to the terrorist organizations. We have to go about and live our life. But like you said, we still have to continue to be vigilant. And again, this should serve as a reminder how complicated this is. Look, over those past 20 years, we may have lessened their ability to do harm and launch harm from other countries into the homeland, but they have improved and changed their techniques and tactics and procedures. Homegrown violent extremists is one of those. But now as we're looking at Afghanistan and we're looking at these organizations once again reconstitute their ability, now we're going to see a possibility of there could be, look, I don't want to be an alarmist, but they're going to continue to improve their ability to do us harm. And that commitment is unwavering. Look, there's a bunch of rhetoric out there about this terrorist organization doesn't get along with this one. But the reality is they all have one thing in common, their hatred for America and their willingness and want to do us harm. And we all should still be concerned about that.
Mark, an issue that we have discussed a few times is the process that's now being used to vet Afghans that are being brought here to the U.S. Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs and members of the House Freedom Caucus are now demanding DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas answer specific questions regarding vetting procedures and the special visa program. In that letter, the congressman explained, quote, "There have been multiple media reports of individuals with criminal records or potential ties to terrorist organizations being evacuated from Afghanistan. And according to multiple media accounts, a U.S. government official warned that as many as 100 Afghan evacuees flown out of Afghanistan are on government watch lists. These reports are extremely troubling." What questions, Mark, do you have for Secretary Mayorkas regarding the vetting process used to bring Afghans who escaped Afghanistan and are trying to come here to the States?
First, everybody that's watching this right now, this is one of the most important questions. First of all, we know about the relationship of 9/11 and those that had visa holders. Now New Zealand is with respect to an overstay of a visa. I bring that up to illustrate that our immigration system, there are vulnerabilities there. And what I would ask right now, this secretary, that as we're bringing refugees, which the majority are refugees, they're not those SIV applicants that help U.S. soldiers, overseas, is there, again, it's coming from a terrorist state, terrorist base of operations. What I would say is, what is that vetting procedure that you talk about is robust? What specific documents are people coming there supposed to have shown? How can you verify they are who they are when they come with no documents, or it's easy to falsify documents? And the last thing that I would ask the secretary is, can you guarantee that your process is 100% effective and that you will not import anyone anyone that could do harm to the United States. Can you guarantee that, Mr. Secretary? Those are some questions that I would ask.
Mark, always great to talk to you. Next week, I want to talk about the newest developments at the southern border and the reports now that the U.S. Border Patrol is using the autonomous surveillance towers. Hold that thought. We'll talk about it next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.